If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe now. Click the bell icon next to it and select All to ensure you don't miss any of my latest videos. On August 15, 1977, at about 11 o'clock at night, the Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University received a signal. That signal continued for about 72 seconds. However, even though it has been more than 40 years since that signal was received, that signal still remains an unknown mystery. And besides, there are aliens. There is an alien civilization. It also remains as evidence to say that aliens have amazing technology. But is this really a signal related to aliens? This is also one of the most amazing discoveries in human history. Are we not alone in this vast universe? Come, let's learn more about the WOW signal. The important reason why this signal remains a mystery is that no human has directly seen this signal. A mainframe computer in the Big Ear Observatory observed it. After that, just as the observatory always takes out printouts, it also takes out printouts with this signal. The process that takes place in that observatory is that the staff there collects all the printouts that come from that computer and sets aside the ones that seem the best or the ones that seem mysterious and then sends them all to Dr. Jerry Haven's house. After going to his house, he checks them all and informs the observatory if there is anything surprising in them that is new or useful for us or provides new information. A few days after these printouts went to his house, he noticed this signal. The signal was called 6QUGA5. It was the strongest signal among all the signals received by that telescope until then and also among all the signals received by the Big E Observatory. Strong even confirmed that fact. SETI also confirmed that. After seeing this signal, a person named Dr. Emmons circled these 6 letters and wrote WOW. Since then it has been called the WOW signal. In fact, if you decode it, it does not say WOW. But the signal is so amazing that a person named Dr. Emmons wrote WOW after seeing it. That is why it has been called the WOW signal. According to his analysis, we have checked the data in this signal very well. This is an alien technological signal. This signal also gives us all the opportunities that we need to check first in this signal. What is the point that we need to check first? The strength of this signal. What is the reason for saying that this signal is a very strong signal? The changes in this signal are actually 6CQUJ5. All these are unrelated to each other. This signal started with a low frequency, then it gradually increased its frequency, and then it reached the last. When it comes down, it is very low. These frequencies start from 0. If the strength of the signal received from the other side is more than 1, it is called 1. If it is more than 2, it is called 2. If it is more than 3, it is called 3. And so on up to 9. But after 1 passes 9, they start comparing it with letters. For example, if it is between 10 and 11, it is called A. If it is between 11 and 12, it is called B. And so on. But if we see here that where U is, it is between 30 and 31. That means that the strength of this signal in that area has reached its peak stage. Now naturally we have a doubt whether such a signal has ever been received by that Big Ear Observatory before. There has never been such a signal with such a high frequency before. And besides, the modulation of this signal is also very unbalanced. That is, once it started at 6, then went to 14, then to 26, then to 30 to 31, then to 19 to 20, and then to 5 to 6. A signal with such a strange frequency has never been received by the Big Ear Observatory before, and it has frequency differences of this magnitude, so scientists say that it definitely did not come from any radio station on Earth. But some others say that it may not have come from any other radio station on Earth. But what is the reason for these frequency changes in it? This telescope in the radio station at the Big Ear Observatory changes from time to time according to the moment of the Earth. So, even a signal that normally comes straight may have been shown to come at a high frequency due to its changes. If its position is fixed, we may not have received this signal like this. Perhaps that could also be a reason, but we must know one thing. It should be remembered that this telescope did not receive signals that were less than 10 seconds or signals that were more than 72 seconds long. That is, it did not even detect them. The 6-letter sequence that we saw in the WOW signal took a total of 72 seconds. After that, this observatory stopped receiving the signal. That means that perhaps some signal must have reached this observatory even after that. This observatory may not have been able to receive it because even if it is a very strong signal, it goes up to a maximum of 30 to 31 frequencies. And before that, there has never been any record of changes in the frequency of signals due to its momentum in the telescope at the Big Ear Observatory. Even if it does, it will be only 0.005%, and it will not go from 6 to 30 all at once. Many scientists have confirmed this fact. So, looking at this, what do we think? That there is definitely some message in this WOW signal? We may not be able to fully understand the message, perhaps we cannot decode it, and another thing is that we do not know for sure whether this wave signal came from a fixed point in the sky or was received from different points simultaneously. Actually, the Big Ear radio telescope was built by a man named Dr. John Cross for all kinds of sky broadband radio surveys. After that, it became very successful, and not only that, it received many radio sources from the sky. After that, the US government gave a lot of money for research on the Ohio Sky Survey, so they stopped using it for all kinds of radio services and started using it only for narrow band signals. And to be clear, they started using it for research for SETI signals, that is, for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence signals. That is, this telescope in the Big Ear Observatory is used only for narrow band signals coming from the sky. This wave signal is the time that we see. The telescope rotates with the rotation of the Earth, so it is only doing research related to deep space, so no signal related to the Earth is likely to fluctuate at this level. That is, it is definitely coming from the deep space network. Another surprising thing about this wave signal is its frequency. A person named Dr. Iman has calculated its frequency perfectly and shown it to us. Its frequency is 1420 or 5 MHz. This 1420 MHz frequency is a very important thing that we should know about. If you want to send a blind radio signal into the galaxy and gather someone's attention and want a reply from them again, then you need to pick a frequency to send that blind radio signal. You may be thinking, what is the frequency? You may be thinking, can't you select it very easily? But it is not as expected. Not easy, there are many types of frequencies, but there are only a few that can go perfectly into space. These are being created by the SETI. The SETI is an organization. We will learn more about this organization in another video. However, we will have to look at some of the benchmarks created by this SETI. If we look at it, our signals have the potential to go even further. However, to create this benchmark, SETI tried to find out if there is anything in nature that releases radio signals. Then what they knew was that neutral hydrogen is releasing radio signals at a frequency of 1420 MHz. You already know that hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. Therefore, if scientists send a blind radio signal at a frequency of 1420 MHz, there is a possibility that hydrogen will react with it and send radio signals back to us. So, who at that time they would not send any radio signal with this frequency, because even if they did, it would not go to space and would react with hydrogen and return to us, and we would get different radio signals. And besides that, there is also an international agreement that this 1420 MHz frequency is a protected frequency, so no one should make any broadcasting with this frequency. If they did, then there is a possibility that radio astronomers would study them. If the Americans released radio signals with that frequency, then there is a possibility that Russia would use hydrogen to study those radio signals and mislead America and give a false reply. Therefore, no one on Earth in 1977 would have broadcast with this frequency. But some say that if there was a spy satellite orbiting the Earth or the outer region of our solar system, it would have released a radio signal with this frequency. If that were to happen, then there would be many issues with the Spice Act, because once that signal reached the Earth, scientists would definitely detect that spy satellite, but they were not transmissions from the spy satellite because the frequency that came from it matched exactly with the antenna of the radio telescope in the Big Ear. The signal reached the Earth according to this antenna pattern. If a spy satellite is supposed to send some signals to the Earth, then it will not send exactly according to the antenna in the Big Ear, because the spy satellite is supposed to be unknown to anyone. Why does it work so perfectly like that? Many people are saying that this WOW signal could be from something close to the Earth or from something a little far from the Earth. If that is the case, then some of our public satellites could have sent these radio signals, but scientists have not yet discovered all the public information related to us. The satellites were also checked at that time. None of them were in the range of that WOW signal. Everything was at a great distance. If there really was a spy satellite, it must have been before the moon or orbiting in our solar system. That is not possible. And the spy satellites do not send them so exactly that they match the antenna pattern of the Big Ear telescope, because then they would have known everything. And there is no such spy satellite orbiting in our solar orbit. Therefore, this WOW signal is not caused by humans. And we should also note another thing. It is a little higher than 1420 MHz. That is, it is 1420 or 1420 MHz. And why is it a little higher? Others say that whatever released this WOW signal must be moving slowly towards the Earth. To put it more clearly, it is traveling at a speed of 10 kilometers per second. So that's why there are small changes in its frequency, and it is said that it can reach up to 1420 or 5. If we want to talk about space terms, Ozark 2 travels at a speed of 15 kilometers per second. Galaxies travel at a speed of 35,000 kilometers per second. If we look at that calculation, it will take about 420,000 years for Voyager 2 to reach another star system near us beyond our solar system. If the source that sent us the wow signal is really moving, then it means that it is moving very slowly because only then such small changes in frequency occur. Okay, let's say the source that released the wow signal to us is moving, it is also moving very slowly. But we should also know another thing, which is that the frequency of this wow signal has changed a little. No one has officially said this, but a person named Bob Dixon has done this for the red and blue shift. The Big Ear website states that it was changed. I have given the link to the Big Ear website in the description below. You can check that website, but you may not see that information correctly on that website now. The reason for that is that in the 1990s, the land where the telescope is located was sold to someone else, so some of the data on that website was deleted at that time. But what Dixon says is that some changes were made, maybe in its frequency or in its details. Why was it changed? He says that it is for the Doppler effect. He says that because of this Doppler effect, we have certain galactic standards, and to match them, there is another civilization. He says that small changes were made in it for the Doppler effect. Only by making such changes will everyone feel that it did not come from Earth or from our star system, or if it was left as it is, it came from Earth. He said at the time that many people thought that it was the same signal that came, so it was changed, but many people rejected his words and said that everything he said was a lie. Another feature that we need to know about this wow signal is that it is a narrow band signal. Many people who see this narrow band signal say that this signal is a wonderful technological signal sent by aliens because narrow band means that it does not leak anywhere, that is, even if there are different frequencies near it, it goes straight to where you want to send it without any disturbances. Nature has never sent narrow band radio signals. It can only send them occasionally under some particular conditions. So nature is not likely to send such things. If humans want it, they can send such things. Actually, these narrow band signals are the opposite of wide band signals. These wide band signals take more energy because they have different frequencies anywhere in between. If it appears, they are diverted to that side, so they waste a lot of energy and they distribute energy too. So that's why narrow band technology was created. So aliens also developed this narrow band technology and sent these signals to us. Many theorists argue that this wave signal is not just a narrow band signal, it is a very strong narrow band signal. Do you know how wide it is? It is only 10 kilohertz. No television signal or radio signal on Earth has been sent so perfectly or so narrowly. It is not known who sent this wave signal, but its function is very perfect. It sent that signal extraordinarily. But where did this wave signal come from? This question has not been answered yet. The main reason for not finding an answer to this question is that this signal is in the constellation Sagittarius. We do not know exactly which patch it came from. If it came from any patch, it would seem that it came from outside our solar system. If we check the distance between these patches, we will know how far away it came from our solar system. But no one knows which patch it came from. And another thing is that the central bulge of the Milky Way galaxy is also in that area. So it could have come from that area. But there are millions of stars in that area, which means there could be many more planets. We could have received this signal from any of them. And another problem is that the Big Ear telescope has 2 feed horns, which means they can observe 2 beams of signals at the same time. That is, a single signal from one patch of the sky is divided into 2 and observed by 2 beams. However, the difference between these 2 beams is only 3 minutes. But who will notice it in those 3 minutes? It was not observed. It was only observed after the professor had printed out the entire thing and sent it home. So no one knows exactly what it was received through. But we can say one thing for sure. It must have come from some interstellar space area. Not only this Big Ear telescope, but many radio telescopes, even those with higher frequencies than the Big Ear telescope, are continuously observing towards those 2 patches. Among them is the Very Large Array telescope. But even then, none of them could receive this signal. Perhaps this wow signal originated from some area very far away from our galaxy, hit some object near our solar system in the middle, and then deviated towards us again. So that is why the Big Ear telescope was observing that area at that time. So the Big Ear telescope may have received those signals. Some say that it was sent from another place on Earth. They said that these signals could have been received by us because the signals hit other planets in our solar system and bounced back to us, but that is also not true because at that time, no planet in our solar system was in a position to bounce the signals coming from our Earth. That means they definitely did not bounce back. They definitely came from some object outside the solar system. If, as others have said, the signals that went from Earth hit other planets and bounced back to us, then such incidents must have happened many more times, but that has never happened. Recently, many media persons or social media people have started saying that the reason for this wow signal is comets. Many people have started spreading the idea that comets are the reason for this wow signal. But this matter has faced a lot of criticism. The reason is that this wow signal could have been within our solar system at the time of reception, or it could have been outside our solar system. There are no comets anywhere in the solar system. Another thing is that comets release very strong neutral hydrogen radio signals. Radio astronomers can easily observe these signals, but these are not signals released by comets. So many scientists believed that these were extraterrestrial signals, and the theory that these signals came from comets was rejected. Okay, let's come back to the wow signal. If we check all the elements in this wow signal, we will see all the evidence that aliens sent this signal. However, after this wow signal was received, many people started doing research in space using many types of telescopes, including very large telescopes, but this signal has never been received again. There are some reasons for this. First, if we think that this wow signal comes at a particular time, we do not know when that particular time was. Actually, there are some patterns for such signals, that is, the signal that comes once comes again after 6 months and then comes again after 6 months. So if there is such a pattern for this wave signal, we have not yet been able to know about it. So we do not know when it will repeat again. Another thing is that astronomers cannot always continuously watch the sky of an area because radio telescopes change their position from time to time and fall to look at an area. And radio astronomy is just that, we may not see or hear this wave signal again. A radio astronomer named Robert H. Gray did a lot of work on this subject and even wrote a book on it. After that, he also built his own radio telescope and did a lot of research on space. He and his colleagues used that telescope from time to time to check what was happening in the sky, but they did not receive that wave signal even once. Of course, they were getting very small radio signals, but they did not get any signal with this wave signal frequency. They also got tired of watching and stopped watching. And another thing is that the Earth is also rotating all the time. Therefore, from which area the signals came, the Earth may not be on that side when those signals hit the Earth again. It may be on the other side. There may be an ocean in that area. There may not have been any radio observatories there. Or if this wave signal came again, it may not have come with such a high frequency but with a very low frequency. So that is why we may not have been able to catch this wave signal again. And the SETI will officially recognize it only if it receives a signal twice, or even if it is the first signal received, it can be completely studied. But this is not the case. So, this wave signal is not an officially recognized signal. That is why we do not have official information about this wave signal. It was not found, but in fact, the signal is related to an extraterrestrial intelligence. That wave signal has no connection with the Earth or anything related to the Earth or our solar system. Therefore, we know that the aliens are definitely somewhere and they have the technology to send radio signals. Perhaps they wanted to say something else in that message, but they could not say it because that radio observatory only receives signals for 72 seconds and then does not receive them. So we are not alone in this matter. Finally, another thing we need to know is that a person named Dixon has also informed everyone that the Big Ear telescope has received not one narrow-band signal like this wave signal, but several thousand signals. Among them, 1124 signals were slightly above the average noise level. He also divided them into different types. No information has been found about it so far, and those signals have not come back. What he said is true, but those signals have not become as popular as the wow signal. The reason is that the media has not focused as much on the wow signal as on the other signals because first is first. In any case, I feel that this wow signal is like a communication message sent by aliens to make us believe that aliens exist. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.